Hello, DJ Phillips, Magnolia Salon, back with another video. Today we are going to be talking about hot tools. There are several different types of hot tools. I'm going to go through all of them and I'm going to explain the difference between each one and the different price points for each one and what they do. So let's get started. First up, we have the blow dryer. This is going to be the most commonly used tool out of all of them. There are going to be different levels of blow dryer, not necessarily different price points. There are many different price points. The different levels of blow dryer are going to be based off of the wattage that it's going to put out. So a lot of the ones that you're going to see in hotels are about 12 to 1300 watts. That just means that it's going to blow out very little air. The problem with that is that the longer it takes for you to dry your hair, the frizzier it gets. You're going to want to get your hair dry as quickly as possible so it doesn't get frizzy. Now, when you have like a 1200 or a 1300 watt blow dryer, it's gonna kind of feel like somebody's just like blowing on your head, like whew, and it's not going to get it dry very quickly. So even with different settings, I always suggest at least do like a medium heat to a high heat depending on your hair type. If you have a finer, straighter texture, you don't need a high heat. You don't need a high power because that is going to damage your hair. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So you're going to want to shoot for something that's 1800 watts or more. They are coming out with blow dryers that are about 2000 watts. There's even some that are 3000 watts. Those are going to be more for like a professional level. That's going to be for us who need to get your hair dry as quickly as possible so we can get another client in our chair. And since we know how to use it and not damage your hair, that is going to be good for us. So the difference between price points of your blow dryer is going to be how long your blow dryer is going to last for. I get clients in my chair that haven't purchased a new blow dryer in 10, 20 years. And if you spent $15 on your blow dryer a decade ago, you need to go ahead and toss that out and purchase a new one. Now, what happens with a blow dryer when you realize that it's time to purchase a new one? You probably are seeing some crispy ends to your hair, especially some of these hairs right in front. Those are really delicate hair. Those are the easiest to get damaged all along your hairline, even back here. But we tend to concentrate way more heat on these because we see them and they annoy us more. And so if you're concentrating too much heat on it, even with a blow dryer or a curling iron or a flat iron, those tend to break off and need to be cut more often. And then it's a vicious cycle because we are annoyed with how short they are and we want them to grow. And they're doing weird things. So we're flat ironing them more. It's awful. So when that happens, what's actually happening is that most of the time there's an internal temperature gauge inside all of your hot tools, but inside your blow dryer, there's a temperature gauge that when you set it to cold, medium, high heat, that internal temperature gauge is what controls that. Well, most of the time, that internal temperature gauge only lasts so long, and that is going to break before you're actually noticing that there's anything wrong with the blow dryer itself. I know I've had blow dryers shoot sparks before. I've had blow dryers just not turn on. Sometimes cords get damaged. Those are obvious reasons to purchase a new blow dryer. But most of the time it's actually the internal temperature gauge that needs to be replaced, or is the reason you need to replace your blow dryer. So most of the time what I suggest is, if you can't remember when you purchased your blow dryer or where you purchased it from, get rid of it and get a new one. Price points are going to be based off of how long it's going to last for. Now, the higher the price point, the more likely it's going to be more of a professional grade blow dryer. And for professionals, most of them have a 4 to 10 year warranty on it. And for us, they assume that we are doing 10 blow dries a day, every day, for 4 to 10 years. that's awesome. So if you have the means to purchase a more expensive one, go for it. It's gonna last you forever and it's gonna be awesome and you're gonna love it and your hair's gonna dry faster. You're gonna notice a whole bunch of new awesome things with your hair. If you don't have the means to purchase a very expensive blow dryer, I totally understand, especially right now. So get one that is a reputable company. I always go for the Babyliss brand blow dryers. Those are going to range from, I can actually order them for you if you want to contact me. If not, go on, I don't know about Amazon just because I don't know if it's a reputable retailer. And so sometimes, yes, there are things that there are tools that are counterfeit along with hair care products. I'll do another video about that. I would do like an Ulta or a Sephora, a Beauty Brands, things like that. I can get them for you, and a lot of times they are on sale, so I can check price points. I would suggest spending at least $40 on a blow dryer. That is going to get you probably 2 or 3 years out of your blow dryer. Anything more expensive than that, it's just going to add years onto the life of the blow dryer. So that is what I love about blow dryers. Now I can't find the one for this because this is actually my old blow dryer. This is the concentrator for my new blow dryer. A concentrator is really important. So if your blow dryer doesn't come with a concentrator, you really need to rethink it, because if the air is just coming out everywhere, then that is going to also add frizz to your hair. This is going to concentrate the heat and going to be able to smooth the hair down. A lot of times they also come with a diffuser. That's going to be a round piece that goes on the end, and it has almost like fingertips on it, and that's going to be for your curls. So if you have curly hair, that's going to be really good to kind of get in there and help keep the curl pattern without making it too frizzy. And you kind of just you literally rub it on your head. So that is going to be my recommendation for blow dryers. Another thing about blow dryers is that it's going to be indirect heat, which means you don't put the actual heat element, like the part that actually heats up, directly on your hair. Therefore, you cause less damage with a blow dryer. So what I like to do is, if I'm not going to wash my hair that day, I've already washed it, I just want it to be straight, I'll actually go in on my dry hair with my blow dryer and my brush and just kind of attempt to get it as straight as possible, because I'm doing less damage with this than I am with my flat iron or my curling iron or anything like that. So then all you have to do if you want your hair to be straight, all you have to do with your flat iron is go in and kind of touch spots up, and so you're causing way less damage that way. Next up is going to be the flat iron. I love a good flat iron. I don't flat iron my hair too often, but I do love to be able to touch up spots with my flat iron, and I actually curl my hair with my flat iron most of the time. I enjoy this one immensely. This one was rather expensive. I have one at home, I have one at the salon. I am a product hot tool junkie. It's what I like to spend my money on. What I love about this one is not only do you get these nice floating plates, but you also, this part doesn't heat up as much as this part, but this part will heat up a little bit. And so when you're curling your hair, it will smooth everything as you curl. I'll do a separate video on how to curl your hair with a flat iron. But I love this because also it has all these different heat settings on it and all these different buttons. And so that's going to be good for, this goes from 300 up to 465. 465 is going to be for your overly curly hair, your really coarse textured, intense curl pattern hair. So if you have naturally pretty straight hair, you can set it at 300 or 340 and you're not going to cause damage to your hair. I also always recommend using a heat protectant before you go in with a flat iron, mainly because a flat iron is going to be the most direct heat that you can put on your hair. You are putting both sides of your hair between two hot plates, and that's going to be intense direct heat. So if you're flat ironing your hair every day and you got those crispy ends, those are going to need to be cut pretty often, just because this is going to cause damage if you are not using it correctly. Okay, next up is going to be the curl wand. Curl wands are something that are rather new for actually retailing, but it's not a new technique that's being used. What I love about a curl wand is that you get a different curl pattern from using this than you do from using a curling iron. I like this. I actually find that if I curl my hair, again, my hair has a lot of texture to it, even though it's pretty straight-ish. What I love about this is I can curl my hair with this, and then the next day all I have to do is get up and run a brush through it, and there's still a bunch of curl in it. Not quite as intense as the first day, but I definitely still have a lot of curl to it the next day. This also has heat settings, and so I don't actually recommend purchasing any hot tool that doesn't have heat settings. If all it has is an on and off switch, don't buy it. Do not spend your money on that. You have no idea how hot that tool is getting, and it's probably going to fry your hair. So I only recommend purchasing things that have a heat setting on it. Now, this will go up, I believe, to 465, maybe 485. I really like that because I can set it depending on how curly I want my hair. If I want my hair a little bit more curly, a little bit more intense, I will hold my hair on it a little bit longer, and I will bump it up to a hotter heat setting. I recommend a lower heat setting. Again, if your hair is a finer texture, it's going to end up melting your hair from the inside out if you bump it up too hot. What else I like about this one specifically, this one you can change out the pieces on, so you can actually, there's a bigger one, there's a tapered one, there's one of the bally ones, and all of those things are going to they're going to give you a different curl pattern, which is fun to play around with. So that is going to be the curl wand. I do not have a curling iron here in my home. I don't really curl my hair with a curling iron. I have them at the salon. What I love about a curling iron is that most people have been using them for, you know, a century. I love this, you know, the curl that you're going to get from it. Again, I will do a video on how to curl your hair with a curling iron. The curl wand and a curling iron is going to be direct heat, but not as much direct heat as the flat iron. The flat iron, again, is going to be between those two pieces. A curling iron and a curl wand is going to be semi-indirect heat, because it's just going to be one side of the hair that's going to be heated up. It's not both sides like when you get in using a flat iron. Another hot tool that I absolutely love that a lot of people think is old school or has gone out of style to use are hot rollers. I love hot rollers. I have loved hot rollers since high school. It gives you a completely different curl to your hair. It gives you a lot of volume. These are by far my go-to when I want a lot of volume and just some like bouncy curl. I'm going to do a separate video on how to use hot rollers, but I do love a good hot roller. Again, this is going to be the semi-indirect heat because it's just going to be on one side of your hair. It's going to give you a different curl. This set right here has a heat setting. It has a low and a high. My hair can handle the high. If you have the finer textured hair, I would go with a low. Again, I really like that it has a heat setting. I'm a huge fan of heat settings. It does not matter if it has the grippies or the velvet on it, or velour, I guess. It's just going to be a personal preference. I have not noticed any difference in the way that it curls or the damage it does. I've never noticed any damage with hot rollers. It's just going to be a personal preference. I just really like this set because I get all these different sizes. These are the extra large, large, medium, and smalls. I set clients' hair with these when I am going to go in and do an updo or just a style for an event. I love to be able to just throw these in, do their makeup, and then come back and finish off their hair. So that is going to be it for our hot tool recommendations. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can find us on Facebook, and you can email us at info@magnoliasalonil.com. And that's all. Thanks so much. Be kind to yourself.